tonight on The GOAT Show.
I give up. You know what I'm saying?
Houdini.
Do you remember me causing trouble in Ottawa?
Oh, you will age yourself with that one. Holy.
If people are going to say free Diddy, then Tory should be fucking at home right now, bro.
No artist wants that.
We can brainstorm at 6 a.m.
Welcome to The GOAT Show, the show where we celebrate and debate all things great. I'm joined by my co-hosts, Fresh and Deezy. My name is ZiLLY, a.k.a. Ravine. Gentlemen, how are you doing today? How you feeling?
Doing great, bro. Doing great. How about you?
And I'll tell you what, I'm excited. We have a Toronto. You tell me, Fresh.
You said it right the first time. Don't pronounce that last T.
Toronto. Okay. We have a Toronto legend in the house today. We've been on a kick with interviewing musicians and music people, and this person, his name is Fred E. Fame. He is an entrepreneur, artist, manager, event curator, event host, booking agent, video director. I mean, graphic designer. This guy does everything. You were saying he's a one-stop hip-hop shop, right, Fresh?
Absolutely. I don't think there's any better way to describe him.
Before we get into talking to him, Fresh, what do the people at home, the GOATs, have to do?
They got to like, subscribe, hit the bell, drop a comment, send it to your mom, your dad, your aunt, your uncle, and your favorite hip-hop artist.
Listen, if you love hip-hop, I know he does reggae and dance hall. Like if you're into anything like that, if you are in the Toronto scene, you definitely got to watch the entirety of this episode. It's going to be an amazing one. But before we get into it, a word from our sponsor.
Water, the source of life. It's been privatized, polluted, abused, and reused. Do you know what's in your water? Drugs, plastics, chemicals, pesticides. But there is hope. There are people working around the clock to make a difference. The solution is advanced filtration that not only removes toxins, but balances the pH in the water. Go to SENTRYH2O.com to tap into wellness.
All right, we are back. Freddie Fame, welcome to the show. Welcome to the GOAT Show. How are you today, man? How you doing?
I'm good. Thank you. Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Absolute pleasure, bro.
Yeah. So I guess Fresh. You know him really well because you're from the Toronto area. How did you guys first meet? Like, how do you know Freddie? How do you land on your radar?
I met Freddie when he used to arrange the boxing hip-hop events. My boy Philly Blunt performed at one of his events. I don't even know how many years ago. I'll probably age myself if I say when that was. But and then we linked up again when my boy Ziggs was doing shows with Freddie. We did a show in Ottawa, took a tour bus. Freddie put on for the city out there.
Shout out Ziggs. I've heard his music. I love it. Yeah, Freddie. So something we ask every guest that comes on our show just to get the ball rolling is if you could have any superpower, what superpower would you pick?
I feel like I already have one. I'll share it too. I feel like I've tapped into the whole manifestation thing. I actually have a technique that I use to activate it, So I'd say manifestation, that's one of my superpowers. It's the one that I have. But if it was one that I didn't have, I'd want to fly for sure.
All right. I love it, man. And I definitely, as we get into the interview, we're going to get deep into, the manifestation part, because you've been doing what you've been doing for a while now. And it looks like you've hit all the marks of where you wanted to be. But before we get into that, from superpowers to superhero origin stories, tell us about yourself, where you're originally from. I'm assuming you grew up in the Toronto area, but maybe you could tell us where you're from, what life was like growing up, maybe, your family, your friends.
Yeah, so I'm from Toronto. I grew up in the West End, like downtown. They call it Central West. of Toronto, like Christie Pitts area. And went to school, went to a whole bunch of different schools. I couldn't just stay at one because I like meeting new people. Eventually, I put that all together and I became a promoter for shows. Sorry, not even shows, for parties. I used to host parties and stuff like that. And eventually got into artist showcases and management and making videos and everything else that was needed to succeed. I'm just a person that doesn't like waiting. It's one of my things. I don't like waiting for people, you know? So if I could take over someone else's job just to make things run quicker and smoother and you know, less resistance. That's what I'm into. The less resistance, the better, because that way we can move on to another project. So that's the reason I'm here. It's to get projects done. So I put everything together now, and now I'm a project manager. But it's project to project. You know, artists have nonstop projects within their lifespan of being an artist. I'm just here to get things done, you know, and then move on, keep going.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it seems like you've done a ton over the years. My first question though is like, how did music enter your life? I mean, when did music land on your radar? And maybe not specifically hip hop, but just any music. And then when did sort of you know, hip hop and that sort of thing come into your life? And what led to, you know, led from just before you got into the business side? Like, what was music to you?
So when I was younger, I heard my first hip hop song in California. I was in California. My aunt was playing some Beastie Boys. And I remember the song was Brass Monkey, and it just had the craziest beat. And I asked her, I was like, what is this? It almost sounds like organized noise, you know? It sounded cool to me. And she's like, oh, this is hip hop. That's how I found out about hip hop. Well, that it even had a name. You know, I'm sure I heard other stuff growing up, but that was the first time someone actually gave it a name. And so I loved hip hop. You know, back in the day, there weren't any radio stations playing too much or any hip hop. So I used to listen to, we used to catch signals from Buffalo, WBLK, and that's how I used to get my little salt and pepper, you know, my LL Cool J. Yeah, eventually we had DJs in the city spinning um, on the weekends, like the, who was it? It was called the Power Move Show. I remember I used to getting my hip hop dose from that show. And shout out to DJ X and them, you know, 88.1. But it was definitely a cultural shift with me when I started listening to more hip hop. You know what I mean? Before I was just like NWA, West Coast and stuff. But then when I got into high school and I just really was surrounded by the culture, you know, I had so many different areas in the city all going to the same school, and it was like I got a dose from what everybody was saying. So yeah, hip hop just totally took over my preference, you know. Although I really like some 80s music, you know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
But when it took a turn in my life was when I decided I wanted to be in a band and that I wanted a band. And so I put together a band called it Fast Life. I played bass, I had a drummer, I had a guitarist, I had a conga player, a DJ. I even had a guy shaking eggs just because he really wanted to be part of it. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my, you had congas and eggs. Oh my goodness, man.
So yeah, it was a good experience. And the reason I wanted that is because I saw other people having so much fun on stage. And I just really wanted a piece of that action. I wanted some fun. So I started the band, and that's when I really got into the music side of it. I saw the inner workings of how and what it takes to be a musician. even though I was playing bass, it was like, yo, I had to see what the drummer was saying, what the guitarist was saying. Like I had to be in timed and in tune with all of them to a certain degree. And it had to be perfect. And that's where the love came in, because the more and more you practice, the more you got better at it, you know? So I ended up becoming a drummer too. So I'm pretty good with just, you know, feeling beats and just making them work. You know, I don't know how to read notes or anything like that, but I don't think it matters. I don't think it matters. I think if it's part of you, it'll just start coming out in different ways, you know?
I have a question. Is there, looking back, is there a specific artist or song or band that really gave you extra inspiration that kind of pushed you down this path?
Yeah. I mean, when I was growing up, I remember seeing Maestro Fresh West, Mishi Me, um, like man's like HDV, like real hood, like HDV was like, I remember that. It was like some real low budget videos, but they were on Much Music, which was our station where they played videos, music videos. I just remember saying, wow, you know what I mean? Like, if a man like that could do it, anyone could do it. And I just felt that from the beginning, you know? So when it was my turn to step up and become this manager, promoter, and everything, I already had like a lot of energy to support it, years of energy to be like, yeah, you got this, you know, you could do this type of thing. You know what I mean? So when it was my turn, I just ran with it, you know, and in this world, there's no rules. Like in the music game, there's no rules, really. You know, you can be as creative as you want. You know, people are always gonna have something to say, but it's part of making it, is being able to dodge all of the negativity or, you know, passive aggressiveness with people. It's like everyone wants to tell you how hard everything is. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, you just have to get past everything, and you'll make it to another level where it gets even harder. So it's just a never ending. It's a never ending, you know?
I feel you on what you were saying before about bass players. I used to play bass, or I guess you never really used to play bass. I guess you play bass. But yeah, man, you gotta be in the pocket. You know, if you're off, everybody knows. Like the guitar player can just, you know, freak out all over the place, and it's like it's jazz if it doesn't quite land. But the bass player didn't get is unforgiving, man. And the drummer, I think drums are unforgiving too.
Yeah, the bass and the drums have to be like in partnership. You know what I'm saying? So I really I'm very addicted to detail. So when it comes to bass, like in holding a bass line, that's a perfect role for me. Or holding a drum, you know what I mean?
Let's talk about that addiction to detail, because the other thing that you and I share, and Fresh as well, I would say, is a love of graphic design. And I think you are a professional graphic designer. Is that the case? Like you still do graphic design, is my understanding.
I'll call myself a professional because I get paid for it, but I am a complete unprofessional. I'm not into the latest programs. Like I make my flyers, my covers, my graphics on my phone. And it's only because if I have to stay in front of a computer for that long, I'll go nuts. I won't want to do it. So out of necessity, I figured out how to do it on my phone and just get really creative. So now I could do them in the park. I could do them walking down the street, and I have. You know, I've put people to the test where it's like, yo, let's get your stuff done. They're like, yeah, okay, when do you want to do that? Next week? I'm like, right now. Right now. I got my mobile workshop. Let's go. So I've made people promo and music videos on the spot. I also make my music videos on my phone too. I can't be in front of a computer too long. Like the thought of it makes me not want to do stuff. You know, like the thought of bringing all this equipment to a video shoot, tripods, cameras, gimbals, lights. I give up. You know what I'm saying? I give up.
Dude, I mean, well, listen, man, with the iPhone now, the camera is excellent.
Yeah.
Like people can't even really tell if you're filming with a DSLR or whatever, or an iPhone, you know. And then with AI, I don't know if you've been messing around with that stuff, but man, the Chat GPT like editing where you can just tell it what you want to edit out and it does. I mean, it's getting to a place now where yeah, you can just do it on your phone. It's not even that, you know what I'm saying? Like it's like it's gonna be standard, I think. You know what I mean?
When I realized that a cut is a cut on the most expensive, most technologically advanced program, and the cheapest one is I think iMovie, right? A cut is a cut. A fade-in is a fade-in. You know what I'm saying? So as soon as I realized that, and the fact that the iPhone can film in 4K, now you can mess with that footage. You can make it have any kind of look. It's crystal clear. You can do whatever. You can even depreciate it if you want that VHS look. You know what I'm saying? So as soon as I realized that, I was off, and so I've been challenging my whole city. Who else does 24-hour delivery on music videos? Nobody. Like they wouldn't even. I don't think in any city. I don't think that's something that anybody wants to promote because it's a mind fuck. You know what I'm saying? Especially with videos and graphics, you got to stare at that for a while. You got to make sure that everything's lined up. And even after 5 hours of staring at something, you're going to find something that's out of place. So yeah, like I burn a lot of weed and I just get focused. I get tunnel vision. I get really, like I said, just detail and oriented, addicted to the detail.
I love that you say that, man, because I feel the same way. I feel the exact same way. Much to many people's chagrin, But I don't think I've ever heard of a 24-hour, I guess, availability for shooting videos. So I mean, that's dope. I love it.
No. I'm saying like I'll shoot it and I'll edit it within 24 hours.
Oh shit.
I'm not available 24 hours. Don't get me wrong, but
Shot and delivered.
yeah, like I'll shoot it. I'll come up with the concept and then we'll shoot it. And it only takes me like an hour to shoot because I already see it in my head. I know exactly what I need just because of the experience. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, within 24 hours, you'll have your music video. That's what I mean by 24-hour delivery.
Man, I was about to be like me when I'm tweaking out with Fresh in Toronto at 6 a.m. I know who to call to get the video, but I get it. I understand. You gotta sleep. You gotta be healthier these days.
If you ever call me for a video at 6 a.m., I guarantee I will get up. I will get up just because I'm excited to make them and be creative. But it'll be to schedule 12 p.m. or 1 p.m. You know what I'm saying? We can brainstorm at 6 a.m.
That's what I hear about Ye. He's just like he'll call someone at 3 a.m. and like them fly him out to Spain overnight. Like just like I don't know, dude. I don't know if I could do that or whatever.
Oh, I think you do it when that kind of a phone call comes in. I think you do it, bro.
I guess that's true. Hip hop in Toronto. Now, I mean, you and Fresh, obviously, you've been on the ground floor with it and have seen it. But I just remember as a kid, we visited Toronto. I never heard anything about Toronto hip hop, and then it really seems like maybe around 2010 or something. I think really, I guess Drake would be the one that like kind of brought to everyone's attention. But what was your kind of perspective on that? Like, did it really exist when you were young, and then how has it evolved over all these years?
Yeah, it's always been around. I think I was like grade 8, even before high school, when Maestro Fresh West was doing it. So ever since I could remember, Toronto has been on the map in one way or another. And even like in between, there's been eras of nonstop artists. And maybe they might not exist now, but I experienced it. And throughout my 20 years of doing this consistently, I've seen so many artists, like just so many. And so, yeah, I'd compare it to Atlanta. I'd compare it to Atlanta, you know, like I went in there, I got a chance to see how Atlanta is. And, you know, in 2010 ish, 2009, 2010, when you mentioned Drake, I was down in Atlanta. So I got to see how we affected them. You see what I'm saying? Our music, our northern touch, let's say, you know what I mean? Like I saw how it affected the South down there. Everywhere I went, I was like, hey, I'm from Toronto. They already knew. They already knew where that was. They're like, yo, that's where Drake from, no? That's exactly it.
I got a list here of, according to Grok, the top 10, or sorry, top 20 hip hop artists from Toronto, or artists in general, in general. But like toward hip hop: Drake, The Weeknd, Tory Lanez, Nav, Belly, Killy, Pressa, Jazz Cartier, Smiley.
Belly's from Ottawa. Nav is from Brampton. Continue.
This is what they gave me. Cardinal, Official, JD Era, Rich Kid, Socrates, Sean Leon, Jimmy Prime, Boy 1DA, Boy Wonder, Boy Wonder, Boy Wonder. Top 5: Puffy, Els, and Houdini.
Houdini.
Yo, rest in peace, Houdini. I'm surprised that it gave you top 5 Puffy, Els, and Houdini at the end over there.
I don't think it was in any order besides obviously Drake being on the top of the list, and The Weeknd and Tory Lanez. Like that makes sense.
I'm just surprised that they made that list.
I think the top 3 is perfect, you know? The top 3, they got that right.
You know, from my understanding, you were Tory Lanez's first manager.
Yeah, I was his first manager.
I mean, you know, he's been in the news a lot lately, unfortunately, for some pretty awful things, which is sad. But when did you start doing artist management, and then when did Tory Lanez sort of come into the picture?
I think he was 16. I think he was 16 when I started working with him. I had to ask permission from his dad, you know, I went through even his family members. Like his brothers would come and hang out, and, you know, we'd plan stuff out, you know what I mean? But yeah, I knew Tory Lanez was going to be a star from the beginning. So I put some good energy into him. From I was only with him a year. But within that year, it was like real pivotal moment stuff. You know what I mean? Not only for him, but for me as well, because I got to learn so much just from being his manager. You know, I learned that when I'm really focused and I really want something, the world is going to move for what I want. You know what I'm saying? Things are going to align. Things are going to shift. Things are going to make way, like whatever it is, if I really want something. And that's what it really taught me is like, if I really, really want something, it's going to happen. And that's where that whole manifestation thing, because with that superpower, with that question you asked me earlier, you know, I tapped into it. I know how to really make it work and really just, you know, flip that switch or push that button now. So that's what I learned. I learned what I have within myself. I already knew that he was going to be big, right? But in the process, I learned that I got what it takes to push. You know what I'm saying?
Sorry to interrupt. But with manifestation, these things, do you feel that you envisioned it and then things moved, or do you feel like you just have the focus, and then because you have the focus, it's like, okay, I know I'm going there, and then you still have to do the work of like, okay, this, then this, or what do you think? I mean, do you think is it enough for someone to really to dream, and then by doing so, naturally things will unfold, or do you feel like it's like, okay, you have the dream, but you still gotta, you know, plan and strategize, and or I mean, what's how do they tie together?
I'll be honest, like it's different for everybody. It's always different, you know. Some people have the ability to dream and then make it real, right? Others have the ability to just dream and then someone else will make it real, right? So there's just different. There's so many variations. Some people just want something and it just comes to them. So it's really just what kind of person you are and how you think and what kind of, you know, frequencies you're letting out into the universe, right? Me, I feel like I've gone through so much that now I could think it, do it, and get it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, there's a lot of resistance, but that's part of the fun. If there was no resistance, you wouldn't learn. You wouldn't figure out how to, you know, do it quicker or make it better. Or you get what I'm saying? It's almost like you need those things to slow you down so you could use your mind, and that way it's just like a video game, right? When you're going through stage one, it's the hardest thing. After you played it 10 times, 20 times, stage one is nothing. You're laughing that was even a thing. You know what I mean? And it's the same thing with stage two. When you finally get to stage 10, it's like, oh my God, now I got to face this, my most challenging. And when you're at a stage 100, you realize that stage 10 was nothing. So you just almost have to come at it with that kind of mindset. Like, yes, it's going to get harder, but you trained for this.
You know, talking about making things happen, manifesting things. I mean, just the limited experience that I've had with trying to put on just small, you know, dumb little events or dumb little get-togethers, you know, and all the moving pieces and all the like drama and like the stress and all that stuff. What, you know, what got you into setting up a, you know, events, you know, maybe these artist showcases, and then in addition to that, I mean, do you just learn by doing? Is that how you do with these things, or is it one of those things where I don't know? I just find I'm always very impressed by people who put on events and showcases, because there's just so many moving parts, and organizing all that and making it happen and seeing it, you know, become reality is really you know, accomplishment.
I'll tell you, back in high school, I was president of the school store, president of the entrepreneur club and the class and everything to do with business. They gave me awards for businesses that I had in high school, right? So I remember one time specifically, they gave me the Black History Month assembly, and it was my job to make it happen, you know? Get some artists, get some DJs, some breakdancers, some artists, like it was a whole thing. And because I'm not African American, I had a lot of backlash. You get what I'm saying? Had a lot of hate, you know? And I felt that from the very beginning. Like it was like, yo, if you really want to do something, you're gonna get as much resistance and everything, but if you can make it past all that, you'll win, you know? So from the beginning, it's always been some kind of drama, you know what I'm saying? Freddie ain't black. I've even had girlfriends where, you know, Jamaican girlfriends where they're like, you're lucky that you're even accepted in our culture. And it's like, what? No, no, no. Hip hop is for everybody. You know what I'm saying? And it's really what you make of it. You know what I mean? So I don't look really that, oh, I'm a Spanish guy in a black dominated industry. It's like, no, no. I'm a dude who's ready to go. And if whoever's ready to go, you can come with me. If you're not, we're leaving you behind, type of thing.
Right. You can't say that and then say Wu-Tang is for the kids, right? You know what I mean? You can't seclude people and then say Wu-Tang is for the kids.
Yeah, I feel you. I feel you. I feel you. I grew up with it. So even if the rule was no, you're not allowed to, it's embedded in. You know what I'm saying?
And let's talk about one of the best rap artists of all time, Eminem, being white. So I mean, I think it's already kind of been broken, right? The stigma, but
Definitely. Yeah, this was before Eminem, though. This was way before Eminem.
Oh yeah. But I understand that still goes on today, bro. I see it. I'm a hip hop artist here in AZ, and like I work with Respect the Underground out here and do artists. Man, I'm just a white dude that gets looked past most of the time, you know. But it just is what it is, you know. I make my way, and it takes a little bit more effort, you know, to get noticed.
Definitely. But yeah, it started in high school, you know, and I remember the teachers and everyone, they entrusted me with doing this very important assembly, and I got it done. And after that, that was it. Like I was running shows like all over the place in Toronto, very young age, you know. And then yeah, it's just so natural for me, you know what I mean? Like I could literally book a whole show and not even have a venue. And then closer to the date, I'll just manifest a venue. Someone will call me and be like, "Hey, need a venue?" Yup, perfect, thank you. It's gotten to that point now, you know.
Yeah. I mean, I was looking on your Instagram, and it's like, I mean, I mean, you do your videos where you've done interviews, and I do want to get into not waiting. I thought that was so funny and so true. But most of your Instagram is like, I mean, I was looking at it, I was like scrolling. I was like, where the content with it's like it's all you supporting artists, doing events, putting people together. I was super impressed. I was like, oh my gosh, like this guy's for real. And it's nonstop. Like I scrolled your feed. Like when I research people, I scroll the feed, you know what I'm saying? And I was scrolling your feed, and it was like I think one was like this $500 thing. I mean, I don't know. I mean, how many events have you done in 20 years where you know artist showcases and all that kind of stuff?
Non-stop, brother. It's non-stop. I'm the most consistent. I have in my profile the most consistent. And it's not like I could stop right now and I'll still be the most consistent. You know what I'm saying? Because it's 20 years of non-stop. Back in the day in Toronto, you could smoke cigarettes in the club. And so therefore, people just start smoking weed. So I used to get kicked out of every club and it wouldn't stop me. I'd have a new club the following week for another show. You know what I mean? Like I went through so much to make it to where I am now. And that's why I tell people I ain't gonna wait. Like I'm not in that playing field to wait, you know? Like you either know you want to do something or like I say in my other video, out.
What keeps you enthusiastic about putting on events and managing artists and all this kind of stuff? What drives you to want to do that? Because it's a handful, bro. Some of these artists drive you crazy. Some of these event, like you said, you know, people are, you know, venues and promoters and, you know, whatever. Like, I mean, it can drive a man crazy. Like, what keeps you locked in wanting to do it and be that consistent?
I love seeing people meet each other. I like seeing people build relationships, you know, personal or business. I just like that. I like seeing it, you know, and sometimes I'll know who's already going to connect with each other. And I already see them and I watch just to say, yeah, I knew it. You know what I mean? So I'm into that. I like watching people network and connecting people. So it's always one of my driving forces when thinking of doing events. You know what I mean?
Do you feel in any way that the live event experience is wavering at all because of, you know, people, you know, staying home, watching Netflix, playing PS whatever. I mean, I don't even know. I'm not much of a gamer, but I'm just saying, like, people say, oh, we're living in this world now where people just want to stay home and they just want to live in the matrix and be locked into their whatever world. I mean, do you see that at all? Or do you feel like now more than ever, people are dying to get out of the house and go see something real?
I think what I see more of is artists not putting too much effort into getting their people out. You know, back in the day, if you wanted to get someone, you actually had to call them and talk to them and be like, hey, doing an event, come down. They'd hear your voice. They'd hear in your voice how much it would mean to them to see you at their show. Now it's like, attention, all friends, I will be performing over here. It would be amazing to see you. Yeah, you made it easier for yourself. Like you figured out how to be lazy. You get what I'm saying? But it still doesn't bring people out. And I've seen people with thousands and thousands of followers. No one comes out to the show because they put out a mass message, or they don't even put out a mass message. They just think that because they posted once, everyone's coming. And when they don't, they get disappointed. You get what I'm saying? But I'll tell you the secret. If you call up your people, they're going to support you because they're going to actually feel the humanity in your voice, you know, not just some random mass message or flyer post with you like posing, you know. John Joseph live in Toronto. You know what I mean? Like, you actually have to make an effort and your people will come, but you actually have to talk to them. You have to.
And if that doesn't work, bro, shout out to this artist out here in Arizona. His name is Domo. He literally, he couldn't sell his tickets, bro. He went on the highway with a sign like couldn't sell 10 tickets, need to sell tickets for my show, and he sold he sold all the tickets that he needed to sell. You know what I mean? Like, fucking go out there and work. If you want it, you can get it, bro. You can get it.
Exactly.
And you got the content too. I mean, you can still get the content doing it. Why not get the content and get the ticket sales, you know?
Here's one thing that I've noticed that stops a good artist in their tracks. You know, it's listening to other people. The one big negative phrase that comes to mind is pay to play. Okay. Pay to play is a term brought up for, you know, buying into shows, buying tickets and whatnot, right? If you actually compare pay to play to anything, everything is now pay to play. It's the same exact thing, right? If you want to sell merchandise, you got to buy a whole bunch of shirts and then go sell it. Is that pay to play? Yep. Is it going to stop you? No. You just have to know, like, there's different ways to say stuff, you know? If you're going to think, oh, I'm going to pay to play and cool people don't do that, usually they pay you to play. You know what I mean? Guys, I'll tell you right now, the more you understand this business and that no one is going to care more than you, or that's what it should be, then you're not really going to make it too far. The faster you realize that you have to care more than anybody else. Like even the big guys. I remember Master P back in the day. He bought a whole bunch of his CDs just so he can go gold and platinum, right? Go tell that to these people that think pay to play is so bad. Guys, you guys are thinking backwards. You're hustling backwards. And I'm talking to a million artists, like all worldwide, not just Toronto. You know what I'm saying? Like if that one phrase may just stopped you in your tracks, you ain't really a hustler. You ain't really want it. And you're exactly where you are going to be. You get what I'm saying? Just like not knowing and in limbo. What do I do next? I'll tell you what you do next. You change your mindset. That's all it is. Because once you change your mindset, everything around you starts changing. Or you start seeing things differently. So the things you used to see things in the old lenses, when you see things in a new light, you'll see that it was always in front of you. You know what I'm saying? So I hope people took that one in because that's a big one right there, you know?
Well, something I've seen you say in some of your other interviews is a lot of artists just do not want to get involved in understanding the business side. And and part of me is like, well, I mean, let me play devil's advocate, man. Isn't that what the manager's supposed to do? Manager handles the business, the artist gets the dream and be the creator. Is it or do you feel no, like artists got to know it too?
You're absolutely right. But what ends up happening is that the artist that doesn't understand the business side will never know what the manager's doing, right? So he'll think that he's doing nothing. Meanwhile, the manager's handling all the business, but because the artist doesn't know any of what that business is, he'll always think that the manager's not doing anything, you know? And that's what I see with a lot of the artists that I work with. They have no idea what I'm doing. They just think these clubs just magically appear and you know, that because you make music, they're supposed to put you on. They don't know the stuff I have to go through. You know what I mean? So I think if the artist understands even the basics, it'll help you. But the more you know, the better it will be for you in your career. Because now you'll know what people are actually doing for you. You know, and you won't burn so many bridges. Just the thought.
I wanted to touch on the fact that a lot of what you were talking about is scared money doesn't make money. And bro, it's $100. It's $100 an hour to get studio time if you want production. You know what I mean? Like, so a minimum, you know, for a baseline. It's like, so you're gonna have to spend some money to create a super, unless you have the skills, the technical ability to do it all yourself. Like, there's gonna be times you're gonna have to spend money to get people to help you get it done, you know.
It's true. It's true. I'd like to add on to that too. It's like, you know, a lot of artists' dream would be for someone else, some magical person to come in and be their investor, but they ain't even ready to invest in themselves. You know what I mean? They're hoping someone else does because they don't want to. That's the joke about it all.
Yeah, but it's crazy because they don't understand, like, an investor wants to invest and own a part of your company or your business, or you if you're the business. So if I'm going to give you, say, 100K for 10%, I expect your business, like, you put in 900K. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, the business has got to be worth more than what I'm giving you. And if you're the only asset and you're not willing to invest in it, then how do I put a high market value on that?
It's true. No, I've had a million meetings with artists, you know, they're looking for investment. And I'll be like, okay, well, let's say I give you 10K even. Am I going to make my money back? I don't think so, because look, if you know, look, I'll be honest, you know, artists, it's just a payout. You know, and unless you have like some super hit that, and it doesn't even, it's no formula to it. It's just if the kids love it or if a movie picks it up, but it's really just you fishing. You got to spend on the studio, you got to spend on the beat, you got to spend on the graphics, photography, music video, and everything else, you know, the gas to get to the studio, you know. So it's just all a payout. And if you can figure out how that money's going to come in, good. That's a big part of it. But that's only coming if you understand the business. There's no other way, guys. There's no like, I hope I make it. And if that's what you're doing, I'm sorry, guys. You know, you need a different mindset. But I know a lot of people don't want to admit that, but this is all they're doing.
The whole business is founded on trial and error. That's another thing. It's like they've just kept trying different artists, different things, different marketing strategies, different. Do you know how much money's been burned on artists that we've never heard about? You know, so like if you fail once and you quit, then you're not gonna make it. They've failed a trillion times trying to make the best artists around. You know, so that's what it takes. Sometimes you just got to keep moving.
No, it's true. And I, even with me, I could attest to that. I failed a million times just so I could know exactly what I know now, you know? A lot of trial and error. Lost a whole bunch of dough, lost a lot of relationships with people, you know? But you got to go through all that to become a man, you know? Or woman, like whatever you're at. You know what I mean? You gotta go through it. You gotta go through it. So yeah, it's part of it, guys. It's part of it. It's the fun though. You know, when artists when it's their first show, they get a little nervous, you know, the butterflies and all that stuff, and in a way it's like the anxiety of it, you know. I tell you guys, when that anxiety leaves you and the butterflies are gone, it's no longer fun. It's more like work, you know. So you really got to embrace those moments because they're gonna make you better. They're gonna make you better. Than that anxiety, that nervousness. Eventually, those are the tools that build you. You know what I'm saying? So look forward to it, guys. You know, when it's your turn.
We're looking forward to it, bro. We're looking forward to it. we're grinding out here, trying to build something bigger than ourselves for sure.
That's it. That's it.
Hey, it applies to podcasters too. I'll tell you that much. But no, I want to ask them about putting on these events with these artists and on curating the artists in the community. I mean, let's say somebody wants to go down that road and they want to learn how to do that. I mean, what's your advice? How do you start doing it? Or do you just do and then you kind of figure it out as you go along?
Yeah, I can tell you a textbook situation and you go try it and it won't be so textbook. There's always going to be something. So it's almost like you got to just do it, fail. If you have people like me on your side, you know, then you might not fail as bad or as much, but it's good to fail. You know what I mean? And you just do it. You just keep doing it. And you know, back in the day, I was okay to fail a bunch of times because I had some dough. You know what I'm saying? Had a little dough to play with, and so losses were like, it's okay, just whatever. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of people might not have that dough to experiment with. You know what I'm saying? So that's where I come in. I do consulting. I try to help. I try to help people in their ventures, and you know, I like to get in there with them as well. You know, because sometimes, like, if you see someone doing it, then it's just a little easier for you to go out and do it. You know.
Are you open to people reaching out to you and talking to you?
All the time, yeah. People reach out to me all the time. Yeah.
Future promoters out there, future event curators out there. You got someone you can talk to. You got an ally here. Are you currently managing artists, or you know, is that still something you do?
Yeah. I manage artists, but like I said, I'm more of a project manager. So if you have a show with me, I'm your manager till this project is done. And I'm gonna be on you. Even if you have a manager, I'm gonna be calling you. I'm gonna be setting deadlines. I'm gonna be on you. It's not just that you're booked, I'll see you at the show. It's like, no, I'm gonna give you the whole experience. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna have someone on you that is gonna make sure that you're on time. That's gonna, you know, just be on you. You know, I think people need that. Just someone that is going to push them. So that's the experience people get with me.
Freddie, man, no artist wants that. They want to party. They want to drink. They want to get with these women. They want to, you know, I don't want to show about time. What are you talking about?
How many times has an artist said, "Yo, talk to my manager about that"? Have you heard that a lot?
Oh my God. I'll tell you, 9 times out of 10, the managers will take like a week. If not, they won't even get back to me because a lot of these managers, they just want the title. They don't want to actually do the work. So 9 times out of 10, when someone says that to me, I scratch them off the list. But you know, I do just give them the benefit of the doubt. And I'll just message whoever they want me to message, like fast on the spot. And then, yeah, 9 times out of 10, nothing happens. These people won't call you back because they're not really your manager. It's just your friend who said, yo, I'm your manager now. You know what I mean?
It's the guy that you want to bring with you to the show backstage, you know, your homie. So you're like, yeah, this is my manager. He comes everywhere with me, you know?
Exactly. So I've had fights with a million managers, fake managers that didn't know what they're talking about, you know, and they wanted to bring their other business experience. Like, let's say someone was a contractor, right? They'd bring that experience into the music game, and they didn't understand. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes things do not make sense in music unless you're in that world. You know what I mean?
Well, what would be like an example of that would make it different than, say,
I feel like real estate would.
Real estate would understand, you're saying?
I mean, maybe. Why wouldn't it be the same? And what's the differences? Just for the sake of education.
Let me think of one on the spot. Okay, so I've had a situation where, one of these managers is like, okay, I want to put my artist on 20th because it's towards the end and I want him to be at the end. You know what I mean? And I'll be like, okay. Because back in the day when you go to a concert, the best guy's at the end. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, I want my artist to be at the end because that's what I know. That's what makes sense to me. So at that point, I step in. I'm like, look, man, you don't want to go at the end, man. You know what I mean? You don't want to go at the end. No one's gonna be here, and I highly recommend you pick something more in the middle. But it doesn't make sense to them. It's like, no, I want to be the headliner. They think the last guy is gonna be the headliner. So that's what I'm saying. Like, sometimes what makes sense to you might not be the best move for you. And that's where you need people like me to step in and just say, hey, here's my little advice. It's up to you to either take it or reject it, but at least I'm going to be there to give that, and I've seen that happen where it's like we had the stubborn manager who wanted the last slot. No, I want it from my artist. I was here first. I get to choose. It's like, yeah, no problem, At the end, they're like, yo.
When that happens, though, and nobody's there, do they come back to you and they're like, and they blame you?
Oh, I've had ignorant types that come and complain after. And I'm like, well, I did tell you, you know what I mean? But a lot of people are used to being children, and they think the louder they are, that the more they're going to get their way. You get what I'm saying? So, yeah, I've had people yelling at the top of their lungs. And I've had to deal with a lot of that stuff, and it's like, look, give me a call tomorrow when you're not on the booze or the freaking drugs. I don't know what these people are on. You know what I mean? But the next day, they see a little more logically. You know what I'm saying? So it's always ways to handle situations. Everyone's always going to be mad at someone. I'll tell you, there's a million people mad at me in Toronto, a million artists, because they had to go last. I don't choose who goes on. That's one of my things is you come early, you get to choose when you want to go on. But if you're late, you're going last. And you're going to have to learn the hard way.
Don't make the homie Freddie wait. He's tired of waiting on y'all.
You know what I'm saying? But that's what happens though, right? After you're on last once or twice, however long it takes you to learn, you will eventually be like, okay, I'm going to get there early so I can choose a better slot. You know what I mean? So yeah, there are a million artists in Toronto who probably hate me because they've had to go on last.
Okay, so print out like Van's Warped Tour back in the day, right? Print out like a reggae festival in your neighborhood, a hip hop festival. Print out the flyer for that. It's going to show the headliners, right? But any single person on that list could be a headliner. You see what I'm saying? Like, there are going to be festivals where you play that even on the top level of everything, you're not the headliner, but still you are with like all royalty in entertainment and music. So like people have to break through this weird thing because in the future, if they do make it, like they might not be the headliner on the fucking festival, but they're fucking performing with Travis Scott and like that, you know what I mean? Like, that shit doesn't matter on a grand scale. Eventually, hopefully you are the headliner of one of these festivals but you're still there, you're performing, So I feel like the perspective thing is huge because I've seen it a lot too on my side. Like People get angry if their slot gets moved, but they were late for the festival, or they end up performing later than they expected to because of that, but it actually was better for them because there was more people in the crowd, and so then they were happy afterwards. They were all pissed off talking to them because they got moved, but then afterwards they were like, that was tight, like, yeah, thank you for letting me perform, like. So I really do understand your pains and everything that you're saying. Like, I feel it because I've been dealing with it every time I run a festival here. Man, artists, they're on their own time and they expect like royalty treatment even if they don't have royalty projects, and you're stuck dealing with the burden of that really at the end of the day.
Bro, I don't give a shit if you do have royalty projects. What the fuck? Like, you have a time slot, be here on time. Don't be a dickhead.
It's really for the artists. It's trial and error. A lot of people think the show starts when they get there, right? And then they get the rude awakening that no one cares. That's really just how you look at it. You know what I mean? If you show up with a gang of people, you're the headliner by default.
Yeah, that's true. Whoever has the most makes the most noise is who's going to be remembered. So
Does it help when an artist has been good and been playing ball? Like, do you remember those people, and then do you give them preferential treatment just because, hey, these guys have been cool to me, they've been dope? Yeah,
I reward people that make my life easier. You know what I'm saying? The little things like labeling your music files, telling me what's first and second, little things like that, getting to the venue early. I remember all that stuff. When it's time to think of who'd be good for another project, maybe there's another opportunity, I remember those people. I also remember those people that came late, weren't organized, made trouble, or you know what I'm saying? Like, didn't read an email, and then we're all confused. Like, I remember all that stuff because it's more of like,
Do you remember me causing trouble in Ottawa?
I don't.
be honest. Was Fresh Hellion out here?
No, so listen. So there was this kid. I can't remember his name, bro. He looked like Justin Timberlake, bro. But he was a rapper. Okay, and then this kid that looked like, I don't know, bro, like Slim Jesus, was outside, and he was like trying to rough him up. And look, it was at the time where I used to be off the perks, and I just got tired of him like trying to fuck with this little Justin Timberlake looking kid, and I just socked him in his mouth and told him to leave. And yeah, it caused a little bit of ruckus, bro, in Ottawa, to be honest.
I don't even remember, man. I don't remember, but thanks for sharing that one.
we'll remove that so that Fresh can plead the fifth in later circumstance.
That's good though, that's good when a lot of people might need someone to look out for them, you know what I mean? So I definitely don't think you're the bad guy for doing that. I'm talking more like little things like the labeling the file of the files, and like,
What you got coming up, man? Anything you want to tell the people about that we should be looking out for? Any events or any artists that you think are hot? What's going on?
I got a series of boat cruises coming up. The first one will be in July. Sorry, two of them are in July, and then I have one in August. I'm trying to work on one more.
What can we expect at a boat cruise for anybody who may not have gone to one?
So it's a boat cruise showcase. So exactly how it is in a club, but we're on the boat and we have 3 hours to get it done. Now, I like doing my boat cruises during the day, so 12 till 4 p.m. So that way we could do an after party. So July 5th is the first one. That one's gonna be in Toronto. We're gonna do the boat cruise during the day and then after party at night. So it's gonna be like a non-stop action-packed day type of thing.
Yeah, man. We invited. Can we sneak on the boat?
Yeah. Come through. It's good for networking. You'll meet other cities because I invite like all the neighboring cities in Toronto. So Ottawa, Montreal, Hamilton, Niagara, like a bunch of their representatives will be there. You know what I mean? I do this every year. It's probably my third or fourth year in a row doing it. But
You think they'll let me cross with my ID, bro?
say it again.
You need a passport, bro. We're
Yeah.
not. It's not the North American Union yet, bro. You need a passport.
I know.
You're gonna need one or an
Man,
enhanced license.
These guys with their passports, man.
Well, the enhanced license work.
That's my pet peeve. All right,
Yeah.
that's. I'm like, we
The
gotta get
enhanced license
passports.
working right now. A lot of people from Buffalo are coming on an enhanced license.
Oh,
I think that's there's like a passport card for US and Mexico. I know there's that.
Well, do you have the sideways license now?
I have a sideways license, but it's not the real ID yet. I have to spend like $60 to get a real ID. It's so fucking
So I
stupid.
think if you get that, you can come.
give yourself over to the federal government, man.
I'm gonna get a
With that
fucking
real ID
passport, bro,
action.
and I can travel anywhere, and then whatever.
So
So
you
yeah,
just sneak
you know,
across, man. That's what we do out here. We just
come
cross
through if you
illegally and
can.
cross back over. I would love to, man. Maybe when are these boat cruises?
We have July 5th, July 18th. We have one in Montreal, and then in August we have Caravana boat cruise happening.
Come for the July 5th because I can't do the Montreal one, man. I can't go back to Montreal.
Yeah. You guys come through whenever you can. But even if you guys just plan a trip out here, we'll have something going on around them times. You know, it's been 20 years and we ain't stopping. So whenever you're ready, we'll get it done.
I mean, I saw the showcase in a strip club. I was like, what? Or the showcase. We out here. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah. So I do different kinds of shows. You know.
ZiLLY, you were excited about the strip club. You weren't excited about the showcase.
Who ain't excited about the strip club?
I've done like all the strip clubs in the city. I've put on shows at all the strip clubs, and I do different kinds. You know, I think you mentioned a boxing event back in the day.
Yeah, that's where that's the first time I met you.
Oh, now I know what you're talking. You said Philly with Philly Blunt.
Yeah, Philly Blunt, bro.
Oh, you will age yourself with that one. Holy.
Yes, sir, my boy.
I just caught that. But yeah, like I do all different kinds of shows, different cities, different themes. Like we have a dance hall style event with all females very soon. And you know them dance hall females, they got that extra performance in them, you know what I'm saying? So I'm looking forward to just a lot of different things that are happening with me and the team.
Wait, don't you have your own festival? Isn't it Freddie Fame Fest? Is that what it is?
It was actually I was trying to be funny, you know what I mean? I just named the festival after myself just because I could. And yeah, the year before that, we had like 100 artists. It was crazy.
Oh, wow.
It was a whole
100
weekend
artists?
of
That's
like
a full-on festival, dude.
Yeah. Different clubs in the city.
Wow.
Yeah, it just came out of a joke. You know, I had all these artists, and I'm like, oh, this is like a mini festival, and I was like, Freddie Fame Fest. It stuck, so we just ran with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Not to bring down the mood, but I also saw that you had I don't know if it's a charity event or whatever for Tory Lanez. I'm not sure, what was that sort of a charity event for funding his legal defense, or what was the story behind that?
I'll be honest, it's not really a charity event. It's more like of a support event, like Free Tory Lanez. It's when he went in, we started an event, every year that just supports him. So we play his music. This year I had 2 DJs spinning his music. And he's got a big catalog and a lot of hits. So yeah, it was cool. And the people loved it, because Lanez is very talented, you know what I mean? And even when a lot of people turned their backs on him, you know what I mean? Like, I was like, no, this is when he needs us most. So I rallied up the troops and I said, no, we're gonna remember him. He's not just gonna rot. He's gonna be remembered, and if I have something to do with it, I'll do it. You know what I mean? So I've been doing these every year ever since he's been in. just to give him a little, you know, good energy.
If people are gonna say free Diddy, then Tory should be fucking at home right now, bro. I'm tired of this shit.
Tory should be home anyways, bro. He's a stand-up dude. He's a good father. He didn't do that shit, bro. So free him till it's backwards.
No DNA evidence proves that he ever fired any kind of fucking gun, so that's bullshit.
Yeah, no, you could tell there was ulterior motives with that whole situation. You know, he went up against some very powerful people, and that's kind of what happens. That's their MO. You know what I mean? That's their MO. So, guys, it's just, you know, you have to be careful when you're coming up or when you're at the top. It's like who to be who you have to know who to be friends with and who to just keep on the side. You know what I mean? There's gonna be those people that are gonna want you to go into the dark side or into a dark path. You got to remember why you're doing this. Is it to, you know, get your family out the hood, or is it so you can just have a better social life? You know what I mean? Like, what are you really into?
What about artists now? Is there? I mean, maybe I don't know if you have to be diplomatic or political because you know a lot of artists in the area. But I'm just saying, is there anybody that universally people are looking at that maybe people don't know about yet that is looking like the next hot thing coming out of Toronto?
I have a small group of artists that I've been working with for a while now. And just from what I've seen over the years, they're very loved and favored. One of them goes by the name of Slow Mo. Another one, Swisher Sweets. Another one, June Vante. So I've been seeing these guys get a lot of love, and as soon as the masses hear them, I think they're gonna agree with me as well. You know, but that's the game. It's just to get out there, right? Staying consistent and whatnot. So that's what I'm working on with them. Is just staying consistently out there and just building. You know, it's a non-stop build. Even when you think you're done, you're not. You haven't even scratched the surface, and that's the fun. That's the fun.
They're on the DSPs and all that. We can put them in our show notes.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, maybe just for the artist's perspective, if you had like one or two sentences to give to an artist that you think would help them the most in their career and growing and moving forward, what would you say? Some quick elevator pitch.
I'd like to speak to Toronto on this one. Okay. You're going to have a lot of people that are going to tell you what you want to hear. Okay. If you know what you want and you have someone that's going to help you achieve your goals, keep that person close, you know, learn from them and help them. You know what I mean? Because, yeah, there's a lot of bad people in this industry, but then there's people like me who genuinely want to see people grow. And I will do my best for anybody that I work with. So there are going to be a lot of people like me, but just do yourself a favor. Just get me in your corner so we could start making the moves and getting, you know, to the different levels.
Well, there you go. Toronto, he told you direct, so don't say he didn't tell you. You know what I mean? So, Freddie, man, this has been a great interview. I love this. It's so cool and learned so much.
Yo, thanks, guys. I appreciate your time. You know, thanks for giving me this platform. And I know you guys are in different cities too, so shout out to everybody, and you know, wherever you're watching this, shout out to you.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know about Jacksonville hip hop, man. This shit's wild out here from what I can tell. So I don't know. This shit's crazy out here.
They just be smoking each other before they even get a chance to be famous, bro.
They writing songs about the people they actually smoked out here.
Oh wow.
Actually, like as in like you could take it to court. You know, they took Young Thug. Like you could actually take some of these guys to court and it would be legit evidence in court probably. So
well, I would also like to send positivity and good vibes to people all over the world, and you know, and you guys too. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate it.
Hey, listen, man.
Thank you,
We
bro.
toast
You know what?
cheers.
Cheers to that,
Cheers,
bro. You
brother.
got something to cheers?
Yeah. Oh, damn.
Look at that, dude.
Look
the
at that.
freaking the
That's what
jug,
they go-
bro. Is that copper?
kingship.
It is. It is. It is.
Damn.
Copper, while you drink, copper improves the vibrational frequency of the water you drink.
He knows.
There you go.
That's exactly
There you
it.
go. All right. Well, Freddie, thank you so much for being on the show. Fresh, as we duck on out of here, what do the goats out there gotta do?
Gotta like, subscribe, hit the bell, drop a comment.
And don't keep my brother waiting.